An Ottawa native, Kevin De Snayer is a graduate of Algonquin College. A natural and gifted athlete, he represented Canada internationally in both luge and rugby. On the career path, De Snayer made a sharp detour when he veered from the world of HVAC into the defense sector with a specialty in cybersecurity. He began this new venture at a company called Secure Technologies, which was in turn purchased by Calian Group in 2018. Calian retained De Snayer, and the rest is history. His work is split between running a sales team focused on selling cybersecurity to the federal government, while simultaneously ensuring that Calian and its clients are on the cutting edge of cyber threats. In this latter role, his world is a game of cat and mouse, wherein Calian is constantly trying to read and stay ahead of adversaries who are unbound by morality and legislation. For him, this is the sort of challenge that allows him to celebrate his patriotism for Canada. Although he never served in uniform, De Snayer has a deep respect for the men and women of the Canadian Armed Forces and is proud of the fact that he can lend his expertise on the cyber front. In that regard, Kevin De Snayer has certainly earned the title of Captain of Industry.
Hello everyone, I am Francesca and I'm your host of Captain of Industry. Today I have a very special guest. I have Kevin De Snayer. Hello.
Hey,
and welcome.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I can tell your energy. I can feel it. I'm sure you can feel it through the screen. Yeah. So I guess, first off, right off the gate, where did you come from? What do you do?
All right, so I'm with a company called Calian.
Okay.
So it's a pretty diverse company. We do everything from manufacturing satellites, Sirius XM radio. We do some work for them. We do learning and training, virtual training. We do healthcare. So right across the entire military, we handle the healthcare for all the military bases in Canada, and much larger than that. And then I work inside of our cybersecurity division.
Okay, very exciting. Yeah.
Yes.
And from what I read a little bit about you, that you sort of made the jump from HVAC to cybersecurity. How on earth did that even happen?
Yeah, again, it was just one of those weird paths you take, and again, I still tell my kids, just get on a path, and it's not going to stay the same way, and then take, opportunities, make sure you're prepared when they show up, and so again, I was working in an HVAC job, ended up in a sales role that I didn't like. And then through a family connection, I got hooked up with a company called Secure Technologies. Okay. Started in a sales role, but they just fell in love with the technology, took over all their technology, and then we got acquired by Calian.
Okay.
Back in June of 2018, and now I've been on a roll, and that's where we got pushed into the defense industry a little bit broader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you fell in love with technology. Yeah. Did you have to go back to school, or what was the learning? What did that look like?
So technology is an interesting thing, and it's not changed a whole lot today. It moves so fast that you've really got to be ready to train yourself and take it on yourself. I mean, what you're learning in year one in school may be irrelevant in 2 or 3 years later, let alone when you graduate, let alone 10 years into industry. So I set up home labs, I set up virtual machines around the house, and I would play constantly. And again, at one point I got asked to be a trainer on some cyber tools, and then you're up till 3 or 4 in the morning making sure that everything's working and learning to an advanced level, and then you're training other folks on this stuff.
Wow. So
and that's the advice I'm mentoring a couple people right now, and that's what I say, you gotta want to be passionate about it, you want to do it yourself. And
yeah. Well, you said something really, I think, important, which is be ready when an opportunity comes up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that sort of leads into my next question, which I was going to ask you is, what kind of advice would you give for someone looking to break into this space? Yeah,
so again, one of the biggest challenges I'm seeing with people that we're looking to recruit, hard work goes a long way, right? Where you can't expect on day one that you're going to be walking into this industry and you're going to know everything, and it moves so fast and it's so broad nowadays that one thing just find something you're passionate about, and then prepare for that opportunity. So I mean, over prepare is actually what I tell my kids, and then put yourself out there. So the other thing I don't do ever is try to say no. I'm not afraid to, I don't want to fail. It's not the ultimate goal, but you got to be not afraid to say yes to any opportunity. And then maybe it means 5 or 6 nights that you're not going to get a lot of sleep, preparing for that opportunity. and then that usually leads to something else that's a little bit more normalized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you seem like the type of guy who's ready for anything, don't say no to that drink at a
Yeah,
conference.
yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right, because you never know what can happen from there.
Yeah.
So in saying that, from what I read, there seems to be a lot of groundbreaking things happening within your industry right now, specifically quantum computing, which sounds fascinating to me. Can you give me like a layman's breakdown of what exactly that means?
Yeah, so one of the things that's happening right now, I mean, very high level, computers nowadays are binary, so they do one operation in a row.
Right.
Quantum computing, when it's truly ready, and it's still a little way off, although there's been some big advancements in the last little while that's going to move things along a lot faster. It allows computers to do calculations in parallel, so we can calculate many things at once, which ultimately there's lots of value to it, but the biggest risk to us is that it allows all encryption to be broken very easily and very quickly. So right now there's a lot of like nation states, good and bad, that are just harvesting all of your data, waiting for true quantum computers to be ready so that they can now go back and look through all that emails, all internet connections are broken, DocuSign, things that you signed 5 years ago. There'll be no validation that you actually signed it, or I can make it look like you signed something a little while ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. So now we're trying to look at ways of putting quantum ready protection and encryption on our current infrastructure, our current data, to be ready when quantum computers are.
So that's reassuring.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously this is your everyday, day to day. What's the advice you would give as a dad to your kids about how to survive the internet and maneuver their way safely through it?
You know what? And it just be smart. And it sounds like a silly thing, just to try to be smart. But I tell them, if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, come ask. Be prepared to that. There's tons of terrible things out the internet. One of the biggest risks we're seeing is just misinformation. Right? So nowadays, it's not so much about hacking into your network. It's just about making you confused on what's real, what's accurate.
Yeah.
Was the election fixed? Was it not a fix? And now everybody's questioning and doubting, and you're creating chaos in society.
Yeah.
So I just question what you're reading. Don't believe just because you read it. Do some research. Ask some other people. So that's the biggest advice I give my kids when they're.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah.
In the day and age of basically, I said it, therefore it's true.
Yes, yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. And we joke. We used to say, when we were younger, you're talking with your buddies, he'd say something. Is that true? You had no way, and then you'd say, well, let's Google it.
Right.
But even Googling it now, right? You don't really know that
know.
the information that you're receiving is accurate.
Yeah. I mean, Wikipedia. You never know what you're getting. Like, there's so many things out there. So I get that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I really like to ask is, I understand the professional side of you, but maybe for people who are curious. Could you tell me 3 things that people would be shocked to find out about you, like personal little anecdotes?
I guess one big one is myself, and I've made my whole family addicted to it. We're huge Cirque du Soleil fans, so I think I've been to 15.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, 15 or 16 different shows,
Okay.
and 2 of us, myself and my son, at another show, actually got pulled onto stage to be part of that.
Okay.
So it's my claim to fame that I've been part of a Cirque du Soleil show, and in fact, we're going to one in Disney in a couple of months time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, massive. We're a big Disney family as well. I think we've been 6 or 7 times with my 10 and 8-year-old. I have a 25-year-old as well, and he's equally excited to be on these trips.
You would never guess that you're a Cirque du Soleil and Disney guy.
Fan,
you don't look the part.
Yeah. Well, again, and the third one, I love eating. I love food.
Okay.
So Disney's all about, when I'm there, it's all about the Epcot
Funnel
and the different
cakes and all
foods,
that
and
stuff,
exactly. And we, me and a couple of our buddies, we're big into barbecue, right? So we're, usually Wednesday or Thursday, we're sending photos of each other, what rubs or what we're cooking or what's getting ready for the weekend, and then usually by this time Friday, somebody's got something on the queue. They're sending photos around, and
okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. So I think you've won the award for the most shocked I have been.
Oh, that's okay.
You went from barbecue to Cirque du Soleil. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. Well, I have to say, it was really nice chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming in and giving us a little insight as to your daily life at Calian.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you.